Today, I have got a what I eat in a day video for you. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Pamela and I like to share deliciously easy plant-based recipes. So if those are the types of videos that you like, be sure to click that little red subscribe button down below along with the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Today, I have got a what I eat in a day video for you, and it is from one of the days that we were doing from the weekly meal plans out of the official Bright Light Eating Cookbook. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So up first is coffee and water, fresh brewed coffee every morning. And this is a 8-cup mason jar. So I make sure to drink one of those first thing in the morning. And then the winter week 1 meal plan, if you saw from my first video on this meal plan, is oatmeal with a ½ ounce of ground flax, which is a lot of flax meal. And so you can see here I needed a spoon to make sure I could get up to that ½ ounce quickly. And then I've got a pitcher of water here, just so you can see about how much water I'm adding. And that flax meal really just like soaks up the water. You'll see in a little bit I had to actually add more water after I cooked it. And then 6 ounces of grapefruit. And I ended up putting the yogurt in my oatmeal so that it wasn't quite so plain. You'll see that coming up as well. And then I just ate the grapefruit separately. I really like grapefruit all on its own, so it's not a problem. I know some people aren't very fond of grapefruit, but I really like grapefruit, especially the pink grapefruit. So here's my oatmeal all done, and you can see it's pretty dry. And I'm also actually adding this turmeric mixture. It's like a golden milk mix to my oatmeal. I read the How Not to Diet book, and so I've just kind of made some tweaks, adding in a few things here and there. And this is one of those additions, adding turmeric where I can. So adding it into oatmeal is kind of an easy add. So I'm also adding cinnamon and vanilla just to kind of zhuzh it up. And you saw I added that little bit of extra water just to kind of bulk up my oatmeal. I like my oatmeal to be not too dry. I like it nice and bulky. So cinnamon, vanilla, and then that turmeric. And the turmeric does have a taste to it. I probably should have put it in before actually, because turmeric kind of needs to be cooked off so it doesn't have a bitter taste. And then here's the yogurt into my oatmeal. And I didn't do the full 6 ounces that the meal plan calls for, because at this point my food plan was slightly modified. So just take note of that when you're watching this video. So there is breakfast. Okay, and on to lunch. I'm going to roast a whole bunch of butternut squash. I've got these frozen bags of like pre-diced butternut squash, which is awesome because dicing up the fresh version of butternut squash is kind of a pain. It's the peeling part that I don't like. I don't like peeling fresh butternut squash. So I've got 6 bags here that I'm going to roast in the oven. And the meal plan doesn't really specify how to roast them, but there is a page in the book that says how to roast veggies, and it says basically just salt and balsamic vinegar. So that's how I'm going to go ahead and roast these. So I'm just going to add a little bit of salt to both of these trays, and then a little bit of white balsamic vinegar. That way it's not discolored by the dark balsamic vinegar. And then I'm just going to toss everything together with my hands, make sure everything is coated evenly, and then spread it all back out again, and then put it in the oven. So if you want to see the exact recipe, the temperature, time, and things like that, I will leave a link to the cookbook in the description box down below. And while that is roasting, this is another thing from the How Not to Diet book. This is a hibiscus tea. This tea is actually really tasty, and it's got what is the other? It's lemongrass, I think. I have to look it up. But anyways, these are the 2 teas that he recommends that you drink. just for general health, basically. And it's also really delicious. And I just love the look of this tea. It has like the whole flowers in it. It's so beautiful. But I'll leave a link to the tea in the description box down below, along with the book. That book is just really good. If you're, kind of a science nerd, it's a really good book. Anyways, on to the rest of my lunch meal prep here. I had already prepped the black-eyed peas previously. So I'm just gonna weigh out my portion and then reheat it in the microwave. So you can see I've got a big tub there already made. So I'm just gonna strain out and weigh and then reheat. And my butternut squash is pretty much already done. So then I'm going to add those onto my plate with my now reheated black-eyed peas. And so at lunch, I don't do a fruit, if you remember from the previous video, which I will put a link to in the info cards up above there. You should see it pop up right about now. I do all veggies, so 12 ounces of that butternut squash. And then pine nuts, a half an ounce of pine nuts. And then to zhuzh up the taste, I've got this Mediterranean style spice. And so I'm just gonna put a little bit of that on the black-eyed peas and mix that in. And this is actually, this butternut squash, Mediterranean spice, and some sort of bean is one of my favorite lunches. It's so good. And then here's another thing from that How Not to Diet book. A quarter of a teaspoon of this black cumin seed, this ground black cumin seed. And it kind of tastes like pepper. It's really good. All right, and for dinner is a fried rice with tofu. So first up, I'm going to go ahead and make the scrambled tofu. So I've got a full recipe video for cauliflower fried rice. I will put that in the info card up above. You should see it pop up right about now. And there's also a printable recipe. So I'll leave a link to the printable recipe down in the description box down below if you want to print out the recipe. But basically, just gonna cook the tofu first. Then I'm gonna cook the cauliflower and veggies separately. So I've got 3 bags of riced cauliflower frozen that's going in, and 1 bag of veggies that I'm gonna put in. And then on the side there, I've got some garlic that I've already taken the skins off of, and then some ginger that I'm just grating. I keep my ginger in the freezer, and then I just use a microplane to grate it up. And it's super, super simple. It keeps the ginger fresh forever, basically. And then I'm just mincing the garlic there, and I just use my knife to mince the rest that doesn't go through that little garlic press. And then I'm going to push the rice, cauliflower, and veggies off to the side and make sure that the garlic and ginger get cooked kind of separately, and then mix it in. That way, and make sure it gets nice and fragrant. Now the last step is I'm going to add some onion powder, and if I had some fresh onion, I could have also added that, but I didn't. So I just added, I think it's about a teaspoon of onion powder. So whichever way you want to go. And then some low sodium soy sauce, because you can always add more soy sauce, but you can't take away. So I always recommend using low sodium soy sauce so you don't add too much salt flavor. So I'm gonna go ahead and plate up here. If you remember from my previous video, I had meal prepped my husband's breakfast and lunch to take with him to work, but for dinner he is eating at home. So I'm gonna go ahead and plate up both of our dinners. So first up is his, and so you'll notice that the protein serving is the men's portion. So it is 6 ounces of tofu, if I remember correctly. And then because we didn't use oil to make the cauliflower fried rice, then the serving of sliced almonds is different than what the meal plan in the book says. And then of course mine is altered because my meal plan was altered at the time. So, and then finally, once I plate both of these, I'm going to add more of that black cumin seed that I mentioned earlier. We do a total of a half of a teaspoon per day. So a quarter a teaspoon at lunch, a quarter teaspoon at dinner. And I was able to find ground black cumin seed, which is easier, so you don't have to grind it yourself. I've heard it's very difficult to grind yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. You'll see in just a minute. But overall, this was I liked this day, the meals in this day. I wasn't too fond of the oatmeal. It was kind of plain. But the lunch and dinner, I really did like. So overall, it was a good day. Cauliflower fried rice is actually one of our favorites. So that, and then of course the butternut squash and the beans is one of our favorites as well. So definitely a hit, which is why I picked this particular meal plan. So there you have it. That was our kind of first few days of what I eat in a day off of that meal plan. And it went very well. All right, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. If you want to see more from my channel right now, go ahead and click one of the videos that you see on your screen right here, and I will see you next time.